What's going on, everybody? This is Robert, and I wanted to do a different type of show today. Actually, it popped up on my Twitter feed today, and I really wanted to discuss this. I think it's really, really interesting and actually really important to discuss. So, Rainn Wilson, who we all know as Dwight from The Office, recently made remarks on his social media on Twitter.
How can I pose this to you in a relatable way?
About Christians in Hollywood. And he says that he truly believes that there is an anti-Christian bias in Hollywood. And it's really interesting. I want to bring this up. And so here's the article from Bounding Into Comics, which I have found to be a pretty cool website lately. I never heard of them until recently, but it's actually a pretty cool site. I think you should all check it out if you haven't. Anyway, so Rainn Wilson, known for his role as Dwight Schrute on The Office, recently posted that he believes Hollywood has an anti-Christian bias. He shared his thoughts on Twitter after watching a recent episode of HBO's The Last of Us. He tweeted, "I do think there is an anti-Christian bias in Hollywood. As soon as the David character in The Last of Us started reading from the Bible, I knew that he was going to be a horrific villain." I haven't been watching The Last of Us. The main reason why is I just haven't had time. But even then, I was never interested in the video game. I tried playing it, probably got about 5 hours into it, and was just bored out of my mind because it wasn't a video game. It was an animated movie, an animated show that you were just pressing X and O and triangle every once in a while. It was relatively annoying. So I haven't really caught up with The Last of Us here, but no, he's not wrong. It's not like this is the only show or only a project that has ever shown a Christian or Christians being portrayed in a wrong way, in a bad way, I should say. So he continues. He says, he questioned, could there be a Bible reading preacher on a show who is actually loving and kind? Now, his comments take a turn that I don't think a lot of people would be expecting to hear, because this right now, it sounds like he's pro-Christian beliefs. He could be a Christian himself. He's pushing this idea that perhaps Hollywood should back off from being so short-sighted or evil when it comes to looking at Christians and those who follow in the faith of Jesus Christ. And you really think he's going to do that? Well, Fox News published an article covering his thoughts, and he decided to come at Fox News. He goes, "Here's a couple funny things about the anti-Christian bias in Hollywood. My opinion tweet was picked up as front page news by Fox News. Talk about bias. An organization created as a corporate shill to create division solely for profit based on culture war outrage. Print that." Okay, I mean, yeah, we could take that as you will, take it however you want to, because when you take a look at what Fox News is and all the news outlets out there are just horrendous, are terrible. I think that you should do your own research. I wouldn't trust anybody that you you see, whether it's on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, what have you, whatever it is. Don't trust what they say, because they always have an agenda. They always have some ulterior motive in what they're reporting to you. So Rainn Wilson isn't wrong here, but he doesn't stop. And then he writes, also, I'm not even a Christian. Of course, it's true that the evangelical political coalition is doing a great deal of damage to our country. Banning books, banning freedoms, denying inconvenient science, taking a grotesque anti-LGBTQ plus platform. But most Christians that I know are kind, accepting, and loving, and seeking to make a world a better place. They should also be honored in the media. So like I said, this is a whirlwind, because at first you're like, okay, he's quite possibly a Christian himself, making a great point on how Christians are just misused in media. And it's true. They really are misused in many, many ways in media. And then he twists it around and he goes, I'm not even a Christian. And he says they're doing a great deal of damage to our country.
Are you trying to hurt my feelings? Because if so, you are succeeding.
Christians Evangelical Political Coalition is doing a great deal of damage to our country. I'm sorry if the one people's ideals aren't good for you. It's going both ways though when you take a look at it. Those who are pushing this LGBTQ plus agenda, those who are pushing this wokeness, whether it's in Hollywood or in our schools, when you take a look at that, the way that, if you want to say it's the left or non-religious, non-Christians who are pushing that, that's just as bad as what you're saying is going on here. Banning books, banning freedoms. First off, it's the woke left who are, changing books. They are taking things out of books. They're changing James Bond. They're doing this, they're doing that. They're changing history to make them feel more comfortable. A true Christian, somebody who truly believes in the word and follows the path of Jesus Christ, isn't going to sit there and have a grotesque anti-LGBTQ plus platform. No. You see, what people don't understand is when it comes to Christianity, you love everybody. That is that is the idea, is to love your neighbor as yourself. Now, I'm not supposed to judge anybody. So if there is somebody who happens to be part of the LGBT community, according to the Bible, it's my job to make sure that they understand what God's word is. But it's not for me to judge them. I can absolutely be their friend. I can absolutely have a fun life with them, but I would go into that friendship, into that relationship, knowing that they're not going to get to heaven, that they're not going to be able to walk with Jesus through the gates of heaven and live in the all eternity. So that's the difference, where he's sitting there saying, people, I hate when they try to put everybody together for an anti-Christian look. It doesn't matter if it's, yes, there are some bad apples in the Christian religion. 100%. There are. And it's unfair that they get so much recognition because of the way that they talk, the way that they act. But we have to remember that that is the minority. That is not the norm. That is not what the Bible teaches us. And a lot of the people who don't read the Bible, a lot of people who don't study the Bible, they're the ones that are going to sit there and realize, or not realize, they're the ones that are going to sit there and say that it's all Christians or most Christians. Rainn Wilson, I give him credit because he goes, most Christians that I know are kind, accepting and loving, seeking to make the world a better place. They should also be honored in the media. Again, he's not wrong. Yes, they should be honored in the media. Christianity should be honored in media. It's very rare that you find anything that portrays religion in a positive light. Now, granted, a lot of media takes the Catholicism and they really turn on their head and make that as evil as possible. But when you get down to, when you look at it, no medium, no project, no movie, no television show, unless it's specifically made for the Christian audience, is really ever portrayed in a good manner. And it's really disappointing. And not that this made me think, I've thought about that many times over the years, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong. And it's disappointing. It really, truly is disappointing. I do encourage you all to head over to Bounding into Comics. I think this is a really interesting article. And there's a lot of good, again, when you take a look at someone like Rainn Wilson, who, just the way that he went about talking about this is very interesting, because it's a non-Christian who noticed this. And while I don't agree with the way that he put Christians on blast, he's also making a good point. And that's the takeaway from this here. Like I said, it's a bit of a roller coaster with this whole thread, with this whole issue that came up about this here. It's really, really interesting. But I do want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you all think about this, because it's something that I think us as Christians, those who consider themselves Christians, we need to sit back and take a look at this, and we need to realize that we're being shown it in such a negative way, and it's not fair. It's not fair to anybody. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I want to know all of it. I want to know, your thoughts on Rainn Wilson. I almost said Ryan Johnson. I probably said Ryan Johnson a couple times here, didn't I? Ryan Johnson, who directed Star Wars, and Rainn Wilson, whatever. I don't know. I just, to me, Rainn Wilson. Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, all of that jazz. I want to thank you all for checking out the channel here. Yeah, if you've never heard us before, we're also on all the podcatching apps that you love to use. And yeah, with all that said, I'll talk at all of you later.